Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful spring break and some nice time to relax and rest with your friends and family, maybe even a chance to travel or catch up on schoolwork. I did a little bit of all, and it was a really nice time, so I hope you guys had a great time too. Today, since it's April, we're going to do kind of a spring or Easter kind of craft today. And it's really fun because if you have younger siblings, they can help you with this and you can really be creative. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some art out of just tearing paper. And I've got 4 sheets of construction paper. I have a blue sheet, which is our background, and I have 2 sheets of green, and I have 2 sheets of white. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to create a scene by tearing some paper. So first thing we're going to do is just separate our colors, remove the white out of the way. And I've got my blue, which is going to be our background with our sky. And I've got green, which is going to be our hillside. So first thing I'm going to do is just rip this piece of paper. And I'm going to try and make kind of a little hill. And you want these kind of wonky tear marks. So then we're gonna use this bit. Let's see. Okay. So basically what we've got now, just from ripping this in 3, we've got our hills, which is pretty neat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set them out the way I want them. So I've got my hill at the top, and we're just gonna keep moving these around until they look the way we want them to look. Then I've got another hillside here and another hillside here. Cool. So basically we have a bunch of hills, and you can move it around, move it down if you want it to be a bit more condensed. And that leaves us some room for some clouds if we want to add some clouds to the sky. And so basically we have our hills here. So how can I make our hills look like they're really far away? I'm going to use some pastels, and you can use oil or chalk for this, doesn't matter. And I'm going to use my other green sheet just as a place where I can make a mess. So I'm going to start with dark green and light green. And I'm basically gonna start with this back guy. And if you do something that you really don't like, you could just flip it over. So you have 2 chances to make sure you have it right, or you can just rip this one up. Because you're the artist, you can do however you want. So I'm gonna start with this dark one here, and I'm basically just going to very lightly, at the top part, I'm just going to very gently add some darkness. And I'm using the side of my pastel. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper towel, and I'm just gonna really rub it so that it blends in. Okay, and I like the way that looks, so I'm gonna add a little bit more because I'm the artist, right? So I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna round out the edges, and using a piece of paper towel or tissue or even your fingers, I just didn't want to get my fingers dirty. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take this and put it back here again. Yeah, that makes such a nice difference, doesn't it? Just adding that little bit of shadow. So then we've got our next one here. And I'm gonna just do the same thing. I'm just going to add some shadow to it. You can even kind of add some shadow here. We'll see what that looks like, okay? Add some here. And again, if you don't like it, let's say I accidentally ripped this middle piece, all we have to do is just bring this mountain down here, and then just bring this guy here. And we just have a smaller area. So we can do it any way we want. We're just gonna play with it and see how we like the way it looks. So I'm just going to smear and smudge. Right, and then our last one is here. And for this one, I'm just going to actually shade the bottom and the top because I want it to look like there's some dense grass here at the bottom that the sheep haven't gotten to yet in our landscape. So here we go. I'm just going to add a little bit of darkness to the top and the bottom. And just smudge it and smear it. Easy, easy. And again, this is a great one to do with your siblings, or if you're having cousins over or some friends. This is a great project you can do for all ages. So now I've got my hills, and I like the way they look. I like how they've got some interest in them. And I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing them down. So I'm gonna set it exactly where I want it. Okay, and I think like this. And just line them up on the sides. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is just take some school glue, and I'm just gonna draw with my school glue. Oh, my school glue is getting dry. Uh-oh. Okay. Here we go. I think he's starting to come out. Okay. There's a little bit. Sometimes they just dry right up, don't they? So I'm just going to start gluing down my top piece. Okay. And line it up. Okay. Okay, well now it's coming out great. Okay. So now I have too much glue. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my next piece. And just lay it down. Now, like all school glue, this will dry clear, so I've got a little bit on the edge sticking out, and that's okay. It'll just adhere a little bit, and that's fine. There we go. Okay. And then I'm just gonna add my last little bit. And you can see I'm overlapping my glue on the edge just so that it really sticks. All right, here we go. So we've got our beautiful hills, and they're a little bit ripply right now because the glue is wet. So you can wait, but we're just gonna go ahead and keep going. So now the fun part, we're done with our hills, and you can see they really look so cute, and it adds a lot of texture, adding that little bit of darkness in the edge. So now I'm gonna take a piece of white paper, and I'm gonna make a couple clouds. So I'm just gonna rip. How fun. And because they're clouds, I want them to have a little bit of a rounded edge. So you're just gonna make a little cloud. And if you want it to be a rainy day, you can put a little gray at the bottom. And if you want it to be a beautiful sunny day, you can just leave them white. Boom. And maybe just a little wee cloud for the background. Boom. So now we've got some cute clouds, and you can move them around however you like. You can cut out a sun and have it coming through the clouds, anything you want. And then we're basically gonna make the same shapes, but we're gonna make them into sheep. So I'm Just gonna rip a piece up, and because you're ripping them, you're gonna get these cute little furry shapes. So I'm gonna do a really small little sheep for my background. Actually, this might be my middle sheep. It's not that small. And then we'll do a nice big sheep for our foreground to add a little perspective. Boom, that's a big guy. And then we'll do a little sheep eating some grass in the background. And please, please go ahead and add flowers. You can add bushes. You can add a little barn. Okay, so then we've got a little sheep up here. Okay, so now we're gonna glue our clouds and sheep. Easy peasy. So we've got a cloud. And I think I'm gonna do this sheep like this. Okay. Okay. All right, we got another sheep. Let's see. So this little guy's over here. And then got our cute little sheep in the front. So everybody's glued down. There we go. And now I'm going to take a black marker and I'm going to start drawing some little sheep feet. So I'm going to go underneath. Okay. Just some little tiny sheep feet. My little sheep have boots. All right. And you're just gonna color in these cute little sheep feet. Okay, and then our little sheep in the back, he's gonna have tiny little feet, right? Because he's really far away. So we can just do little dots. And then this sheep over here, he's kind of eating. All right. So now I'm going to take a big fat marker and I'm gonna make little tails. So these little tails kind of hang down a little bit. And you can also just pull off another piece of fluff and make that as the tail. But these are little Highland sheep, so they have little black tails, little Scottish sheep. And now we're gonna make our little sheep head. So I'm just gonna take kind of an upside down triangle. He's got little ears, and he's just looking over. And then here we've got another one here, and he's got a little head. And his little ears. And then our last guy, we're gonna have his head up here, and he's actually gonna be kind of looking at us. He's like, what are you guys doing? Okay, so here we go. And he's got his little ears here. Boop, boop, boop. All right. And then if you want to, you can come in with a little bit of like 2 little pieces of rice. You can make little eyes if you want, but I think this is just a precious little pastoral Easter scene. And I just thought it would be really fun for spring. When we were in Egypt, we saw all kinds of stuff for spring that had little lambs on it, so that's where I got the idea from. So I hope you enjoyed our fun project today. It's a great one if you're missing your school supplies, because you can always use paper. And even if you painted it first and let it dry, then you can rip it up. It's just a really fun project to make. So I hope you had a great time today, and I'll see you next week.